Hey everybody, welcome back to In My Head channel. I'm your host Brant. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about my experience and giving my review and my childhood friend Scott's review of the Ace Frehley show that we just went to. I just got out of this thing just a little over 12 hours ago. My ears are still ringing, but we went and saw Ace and his band in Newton, North Carolina, at the Newton Performing Arts Center last night, about 30 minutes from my house. That's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to have some footage of Ace as some of the performances of basically every song. I'm going to talk about the set list, which is very interesting. And I'm going to show as much as YouTube will allow me to show. If you're one of my Patreon subscribers, you will be able to see as much of this footage as I recorded. And you'll be able to see that over on Patreon. It's going to be an extremely long video because Ace played about an hour and a half. So it's going to be about a 2-hour video over on Patreon. Once this drops, it'll be over on Patreon as well. So you can find out more about that at patreon.com/inmyhead. And you can watch the show almost in its entirety, probably 95% entirety over on Patreon. So let's get into this video.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Boise, Idaho. Don't touch anything!
I want to say welcome back. If you are a current viewer and current subscriber, welcome back. If you're a new viewer and watching this because I came up on your recommended scrolling on YouTube or whatever, welcome to the channel. And we're going to talk about Ace and that show I went to last night in just a bit. But if you are a new viewer or a current viewer and you've not subscribed, do that already, because I am currently as of the making of this video, I am at 3,963 subscribers. Once I hit 4,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away this genuine Mego Gene doll right here. I don't have a box for him. The Gene doll is actually that box right there, just off screen. I have two Gene dolls. I have two Gene dolls, two Paul dolls. So I'm going to give him away. He is a genuine Mego doll. We'll give him away at 4,000 subscribers. So, so like I said, be sure to subscribe, like this video, comment down in the comment section. If you went and saw this show, if you've seen Ace in concert recently, comment down in the comment section. I really want to hear your thoughts and your experiences. I mentioned Patreon a minute ago. Be sure to check that out if you want to. Patreon.com/inmyhead. My current Patreon subscribers are scrolling on the screen. Thank you to everybody who helps support the channel over there, starting at $5 a month. Be sure to check out another way you can support the channel. Check out the TeePublic store, and that way you can find a cup or a sticker or a shirt or whatever that's got my logo on it. My current shirt is a shirt I bought last night at the show. I got an Ace Frehley 10,000 volt shirt, and it has that new shirt smell to it. But be sure to check out that store. Also, be sure to check out my side project I have called Critical Kiss. We were supposed to film Rock and Roll Over this past week, but we had a delay. So we're going to be filming that upcoming. So be on the lookout for that. We've done all the albums up to Rock and Roll Over. So we're going to be doing Rock and Roll Over soon. And I also, coming back with Carla, coming up on my channel, is going to be Volume 2 of the greatest hits of Kiss, our list, mine and her list. And that is going to be coming up sometime in the next couple weeks. And we're going to be doing 1980 to 1989, 20 songs from all those albums. That's a lot of albums just to pick 20 songs off of, but it's the songs that we think would be our greatest hits for that. Before getting into the video, I want to talk about some current news. So KISS has got the KISS Army Storms Vegas. I met some people at the show last night. I met the KISS Cruise Kitties, 3 very nice ladies that they said that they had been on every cruise. And they're also going to, at least the one that was talking to me, is going to Las Vegas to see KISS for the KISS Army Storms Vegas. They asked me if I was going. I said, no, I'm not going. I've got some other prior engagements during that time, and I'm not going to be able to go. But so shout out to the KISS Cruise Kitties. They were a very cool group of ladies, and they're excited about going to the convention basically. But they've now sold the 2 top layers. And there's the 2 top tiers, and there's the 2 bottom tiers left. And they've also announced that there's going to be Tommy Thayer's going to be playing along with Gene and Paul. Bruce is going to be there. Black and Blue is going to be there. Sebastian Bach is going to be there. A couple KISS cover bands is going to be there. And Mr. Speed, I know, is one of them. I can't remember the other one. I really think they should have had KISS Army. My favorite KISS tribute band that I've seen so far has been KISS Army. I saw them maybe 3 years ago in Nashville, or not Nashville, but in Tennessee. And I thought they were really good. So be sure to, if you're interested in that, as far as I know, tickets are still available at the time of this recording, which is April the 12th. I'm curious to see if it's going to sell out, or if they're just going to have an infinite number of. They can't have an infinite number of bottom level tickets, because the bottom level tickets gets you into the at least gets you into the thing, and also gets you into the acoustic show. There has to be a capacity to whatever room they're having that acoustic show in. So I'm thinking that they can't sell more tickets. They can't assume that some people wouldn't go to the acoustic show, so they can't sell more tickets than they would have the capacity for the acoustic show. That is when I'm thinking that they'll be like, okay, we can't sell any more tickets. I do believe they're going to sell out. Who knows? The last thing I want to talk about is my OCD Corner. The OCD Corner. My OCD has been Ace, of course, because I obsess over stuff. And so since I knew I was going to see Ace, I listened to the 10,000 Volts album, which I did a re-review on recently, and I still like it. As a matter of fact, I like it more now than I did when it first came out, which I liked it back then too. But I can listen to the whole thing all the way through. And I was wondering if he was going to do any songs off of it. I had been looking at Setlist FM to see what songs he'd been doing in Setlist. And honestly, I think he kind of changed it up a little bit, which we'll talk about that once I get to the songs that he did on the set. We'll talk about that in just a minute, getting into that review. But my OCD Corner has been Ace, and it's been 8 tracks. And I have been hitting eBay and hitting Etsy, believe it or not, and hitting Discogs, looking for 8 tracks. And I have purchased 8 tracks, and they're starting to show up. Now I'm going to show the packages of the 8 tracks. So here's an 8 track that has arrived. Here is an 8 track that has arrived. Here's an 8 track that has arrived, and there are more on the way. So I'm done ordering for now, but I'm not going to have all of them until probably my next video, maybe the video after that. So once I have them all, there's going to be an extended OCD Corner, or maybe even its own video. I think it's going to end up being its own video. And I'm going to open these all on the video, on air, and talk about where they came from, because it's interesting where regionally and demographically these 8 tracks are coming from. And it always makes me wonder about the stories, who all has Who did these originally belong to? It's making me wonder if there's going to be any indications of maybe some initials or a name. That's just that always, I always know that me as a Kiss fan, being a Kiss fan since I was 8, and it's cool because going back to the Kiss Cruise Kitties, one of them, I was talking to her, and she's been a Kiss fan. Her first show was in '78, and she was talking about how, she was been a Kiss fan since, and pretty hardcore Kiss fan, from what I can tell. And you can tell whenever you're around people who are really, really a true, and I hate saying the word true Kiss fan, but a passionate Kiss fan, I will say that, because they know the words, they know the songs. When the song starts, the very first lick, they know the song, they're into the song, they're pumped, singing along, dancing along, and that's how they were. And that's how a lot of people in the little group around us was. Me and my friend Scott, he was singing so loud, you can hear him in some of the video that I've got. And so it's just real cool. So anytime I see pieces of Kiss merchandise that I've collected, and I'm more of a vintage collector, it always makes me just wonder about who was the original owner, how old were they, what's their story. And that thing just kind of, I like to just sit and daydream about things like that, to kind of, get away from the same mundane, day in and day out life. That's kind of like my little escape. And so I'm really looking forward to opening these. It is so hard not to open them, but I'm going to wait till I get them all in and open them to get all together and show you my collection, to my 8-track collection to that point now. It's not complete. There's a couple that are dicey to get, very difficult to get, and more expensive to get. I almost had one of them, but I didn't get it. I lost the auction at the last minute, and that's usually how it goes. But and I've also been obsessing about a Kiss trash can, because I had a conversation with Rick, and Rick has got me really, to use his term, hot-faced on Kiss trash can. So, but if you go on eBay and you look, the things are so god-awful expensive. And a lot of times, anytime someone has one up for auction, they've got some god-awful reserve where you put in I put in like a $275 bid on one, and it didn't meet the reserve. And I was just like, come on, man. Just sell it for what you say you want it for. Don't do this whole BS of an auction and stuff like that. But anyway, I don't want to rant about that. We want to stay positive, because we are talking about Ace Frehley. We're talking about the 10,000 Volts tour that came through Newton. Pretty cool little thing you got here. Just talks about some of the other shows that they have coming up. They've got the tribute to Dolly, Slaughter, a Creedence Revived. The actual Slaughter's coming. Staying Alive Bee Gees, an Elvis tribute guy, and Gary Ells. And I think Stephen Pearcy was just recently through there. And it's the same place that I saw Mini Kiss at. Anyway, so before the show, me and Scott, my friend, we actually met at a steakhouse, Western Sizzling. We got the buffet and those glorious yeast rolls, and we were literally like 3 minutes away from the place. It's like an old school. It's an auditorium, a 500-seat auditorium. Not very big at all, but Ace packed it in. And he packed it in. He sold all of his VIP packages. You could tell there was a huge amount of Kiss fans there, huge amount of Ace fans. It was funny because when we were sitting in the car recording this video that I'm about to show of us kind of talking about getting ready to go in and see Ace, the car beside us was blasting New York Groove. We went walking on past. We had to park a little bit away from the auditorium. We went walking on past, and we passed another car, New York Groove. Went on down, got into the parking lot closest to the building, passed another car playing New York Groove. And I looked at Scott and I'm like, you think these people think that the only song Ace has ever put out is New York Groove, or they're blasting it so other people can hear it? And I'm like, man, do some deep cuts. Do like Ozone or I'm in Need of Love. do some deep tracks. But before we went in, we sat down and talked about our thoughts and just general conversation before we went into the auditorium, and here's that. Yeah.
We're going to be big.
We're going to be big. Hey, everybody. So me and Scott, we have had dinner. We ate at a Western Steer buffet, and we're in Newton. Same place I saw Little Kiss a few months ago, and we're here to see Ace. And me and Scott have not been together since we saw Kiss on the end of the road tour, right at the very end. Rosemont. So we are waiting. It's about 45 minutes before doors open. Sun's going down. Ace don't have an opening. Whoa.
All right.
Ace don't have an opening band.
It's all part of the show.
Yeah, it's all part of the show. Ace don't have an opening band. And so he's going to start like right at 7:30. So I'm going to document what songs he's playing. I'm going to record a lot of stuff. I've made sure I cleared my phone off. And I'll be able to put most of that on Patreon. I won't be able to put hardly any on YouTube. So if you're a Patreon subscriber, you'll get most of the show. And we'll after we get done, we're going to come back out here. We're going to talk about what songs he sang, and we're going to give our honest opinions on
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Indiana Jones is here to see Ace. We ran into several people at the restaurant that were here to see Ace. You could tell because I was like, look, there's a Kiss shirt. Look, there's a Kiss shirt. So this is a sold-out show. It's in an old school, middle school auditorium. That's about 500 people. And and Batman. And we're on the floor on like the 11th row to the Ace's right, to the left. So you'll see all that in a little bit. But anyway, we're here. We're going to go ahead and get our exercise in for the day and walk about maybe about a quarter mile to the place, because we're literally parking in a field. You can see there a field, and people are really starting to come in. We got strawberry fields. So yeah, here we go. Let's go see Ace. So after that, we went inside and we stood in a line. We were there we got there. Doors opened an hour before the show started at 7:30. Ace had a guy opening for him. He was just a local guy. We wasn't expecting any openers. And he had a guy that came out about 6:40 and sung until about 8 o'clock or about 7 o'clock. And then Ace came out about 7:15 and played about an hour and a half. Played to like 9:45. So he played about an hour and a half. And we wanted to get merch, because I wanted to get a shirt. And Ace had stuff there signed, like he had signed CDs. I think a signed lenticular copy of 10,000 Volts was like $80. Some stuff, it looked like he was basically charging about $50 for his signature. And like I said, he sold out all of the VIPs. So it looks like they were all also collecting what people had brought with them. We saw people that had guitars. We saw one guy, he had one of those big fat head stand-up, cutout stand-ups of Ace with makeup on. Looked like it was like from the reunion era. And they were like checking them in because the meet and greet, the VIP thing was after the show, not before. And we were sitting there waiting in line. The line to go to merch was longer than the beer line. And it went literally almost out the door. And the guys, two of the guys in Ace's band, and I'm sorry I don't know their names. I'm not that person that usually learns the names of everybody's band members. But his guitar player and his bassist were walking. They came in and got some beers from the concession stand. And then they walked back past us and they shook hands and fist bumped people, and the bassist shook Scott's hand, and he was like, that was a good handshake. That wasn't no little, where they just kind of touch your fingers. He's like, that was a good firm handshake. So we waited, and my anxiety was hitting so heavy because I was like, if Ace starts, I'm jumping out of this line. And we got like right up to it. And he's like, dude, chill. It's going to be okay. We're all right. So we got in, we got our stuff, came and sat down, and we were on row H or L or something like that. Row H, I think. No, we were on row L. And I thought we were closer than we were, but we actually ended up being almost at the back on the bottom floor. And I had some taller guys in front of me, so I was kind of having to move my camera around to like shoot the line in between their head. And so in some of the footage, you might see the back of some heads. But we sat down and we waited, and this guy came out and he played, and he was really good. I can't remember his name, but he was really good. It's just him and an acoustic guitar. And then he was done at not 7. He was done at 8. Ace started at 8:15 and played till 9:45. I know I said 7:15 earlier, but Ace started at 8:15 because this guy started at 7:40. Let me correct myself. He started at 7:40, played till 8, right at 8. And then Ace finally came out they had to redo some things on the stage. And then they started playing the quantum fracture, or fractured quantum. They started playing it, and off of 10,000 volts. And then when Ace came out, when he finally came out, and I will say this before I get into this, and then we'll kind of talk about it, because me and Scott talked about it and gave our review at the end. So I'm going to kind of maybe say some things about the songs along the way, but I'm going to save that overall review for the end with me and Scott. But he came out, and the very first song, his opener, was Shock Me. Here's a little bit of footage from that. And if you're watching this on Patreon, you see the whole video. And I love Shock Me. I think he did great. Overall, I think Ace was very on top of it. He was a little sloppy, but that's Ace. And I think he got a little sloppier as he went, but he was great. One thing that I love, that he actually had a bunch of stuff on the drum riser behind him that he was throwing out. He threw out towels. He threw out several towels. He threw out picks left and right. He threw out stuffed animals, some stuffed Spider-Mans. He threw out a water or some drink that he drank out of. He threw it out too. So he was throwing a bunch of stuff out into the crowd, which I thought was really cool, because people like to take stuff home with them that somebody's a celebrity or a rock legend has touched, even if it's just for a minute or for a second. So I thought that it was cool we did that. And Shock Me was great. The solo was great. Ace sounded good. The band... His band is so good. His band supports him so well. All of them sang. Well, did the one guitarist sing? I believe he did. I know the bassist sang. I think he did. I know the bassist sang and the drummer sang. And then Ace he did several costume changes where he changed shirts, and you'll see that in the video. And in between those, they played some little jams. They played like they might play... Some they did some regular songs by somebody else, and some they did some Kiss, like brief pieces of Kiss songs. But so he played Shock Me first. That's what he opened with. And then after that, they played Deuce. I love that on a lot of these videos, on a lot of these songs, Ace actually sang some or all of the lyrics that he wouldn't usually sing. And it was really cool to hear Ace sing stuff that he don't normally sing, especially if it's a song that he wrote. And so I think that's awesome that he did mix in a lot of Kiss into his set. And even though Shock Me is an Ace song, it's still a Kiss song, but it's an Ace song because he sings it. He sings it, he wrote it. And but I do like that he put in some Kiss staples that he doesn't normally sing, or that he wouldn't have sang, but he did sing some or part of them tonight. So Deuce was second. So then the third track was Cherry Medicine off of 10,000 Volts. And he talked about how this song's off my new album. And I'm like, it's going to be 10,000 Volts. But he sang Cherry Medicine, which I thought was awesome. It's not one of my favorite songs off his album. I mean, if he would have broke into Blinded or broke into Up in the Sky, I probably would have jumped out of my skin. But I don't think everybody would have known it as well as even the song like Cherry Medicine. But he did Cherry Medicine and it sounded good. Then after that, me and Scott, we literally leapt out of our skin, because after that, he called all Rock Soldiers, and he played Rock Soldiers. Then after that, he kicked it back old school, and I think the drummer sang this song. He played Love Gun. Then the next song, me and Scott was about to jump out of our skin again, because he played Rocket Ride. After that, they had a little bit of a jam while Ace did a costume change.
Just a little fun there for you. Yeah, pal. Well, hello! Yeah, you know, it was such a cold winter. I'm so happy it's getting warmer. But believe it or not, up at my place in New Jersey, it's snowing right now.
Then we jumped out of our skin again, because he said, I wrote this song about a groupie. And we knew, Kiss fans, you know, it was Parasite. And he sang the first verse. And I love hearing Ace sing that, trying to always leave, trying to grab a hold. The way he says that, it's so Ace. And I loved it. Then the next song, they rocked out Detroit Rock City. Then after that, Ace went to his solo album from '78 and played Rip It Out. Now, his performance on Rip It Out, especially with the vocals, I was a little, maybe a 7 out of 10 on. I would have liked to seen Ace himself do a better job on Rip It Out, but it was still good. Then after Rip It Out, there was another little short jam by the band while Ace had another costume change, and they jammed something like, it was kind of like Hotter Than Hell kind of thing. Then they came back out and they dug deep into the Kiss catalog and they pulled out a Kiss fan favorite, and they did an awesome job at it. They played She. But then he brought out his flashy guitar and he played New York Groove.
Here I am in Kansas City with a fistful of dollars.
And after that, it was cold gin time and solo time. Then somewhere around in here, I don't know if I have the video or not, I'll have to look, but somewhere around in here there was another costume change and they kind of did Love Her All I Can. And I'm not sure if I got footage of that or not. If I do, I'll throw it in somewhere. I'll throw it in where it appropriately goes. But it was people, more and more people were starting to stand up towards the end, and it was getting harder to get a good shot. So if I really couldn't get a good shot, I just didn't bother recording. But at some point in time, Ace did another concert, did another costume change, and they played like an excerpt from Love Her All I Can. After the solo, they played Shout It Out Loud.
I have to get the opening line because I can't remember this fucking lyrics anymore. Oh, man.
Well, we got you.
Hey, my birthday's coming up this month. I'm not going to tell you how old I am.
You're 27.
You have to look it up on the internet.
27 and a half.
I'm not celebrating them anymore. Even though I'm going to a casino somewhere in the United States. This next song is a really fun song. I used to love playing with Kiss, and I think you'll enjoy it. Here we go.
And then to close the show, they played I Want to Rock and Roll All Night and Party Every Day.
You know, we usually leave and come back, but you know, we're gonna discuss it, but you know, we're just gonna keep the show rolling. I got a lot of meat and grease. Oh. This next song, if you haven't heard this song, you're probably an alien, because every human being on the earth has heard this song at least once. You know, even if you're not a Kiss fan or an Ace fan or a rock and roll fan.
Wow.
Hit it, Scotty.
Now, I peeked at Setlist FM real quick just to make sure, because somebody has already posted the set list from last night. And they left off Rock Soldiers, which I'll have to log into my Setlist FM account and add that, because they left Rock Soldiers off. That was actually in between Cherry Medicine and Love Gun. And the costume change that I was talking about, that was Love Her All I Can. And then they did a little bit of a blues jam. Ace came back out on the stage and they did a little blues jam. That was in between the solo and Shout It Out Loud. And earlier, I was calling what they opened the show with before Ace came out, I was calling that Fractured Quantum. It's actually called Stratosphere. and it's off of the 10,000 volts. I don't know why I had fractured quantum in my head. I think in the thing that I'm about to show, where me and Scott gave our summarization and review of the show and just how we felt in that moment, literally minutes after walking out of the place. I think I called it fractured quantum or quantum fracture or whatever, but it was actually stratosphere. So I'll correct myself before you can correct me down in the comments. But anyway, so my overall thoughts before I get into the thing with me and Scott, and you definitely should hang around for that, is I had a great time. Was Ace perfect? No, he wasn't. But I had a great time, and I'd go back. I'd go back to see Ace. It was fun. It was fun, and you'll see that in the videos. You saw that in the videos, in the snips, hopefully, and people on Patreon saw everything, and this video's probably long as crap for them. But anyway, me and Scott closed the video out, so this will be the last time you'll see me. But before I start this, I just want to say thank you for everybody that watches, and hope you enjoyed the video. If you're new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If some kind of crazy algorithm brought you over here, new subscribers, be sure to do all the YouTube things. And here is mine and Scott's closing review. And this is weird, me not closing it myself here, but I feel like I'm closing it myself and I'm not. So here's me and Scott from last night. All right, so we just got out of the show. Whew. And awesome. It was awesome. I'd heard a lot of comments, and I'd actually seen videos. We talked about this, that Ace, wasn't that good, or Ace isn't he's sloppy. And of course Ace is sloppy. This is Ace. Let me turn this light on here. This is Ace. But dude, I think they sounded great.
Oh yeah, sounded really good.
And
those two guys that he has up front with him, they literally have his back.
He is.
They all work together.
Yeah, they do. And the drummer, I mean, I don't know their names. I know some of you people know their names and stuff. I don't know their names. I don't follow close enough but I know some of you guys do. Y'all know all that Ace's band members' names. But his drummer was kind of like, his drummer sang a lot of leads, sang a lot. He was sometimes singing behind Ace to kind of help reinforce Ace. You could tell that Ace, he talked about how he's getting ready to have a birthday. And these guys are doing exactly what Ace is paying them to do. They're playing strong. They're tight. When there would be times that they would all stop and it would be split silent for a second. So even Ace was on top of stuff. His solos was good. I can't remember all the songs, the set list in particular. We're just going to name some songs, and then I'm going to show some. I'm going to show a little bit of videos along the way. During this, I may bump in as, re-record and put the set list in tune or in order. But they sang Deuce.
Shout It Out Loud.
They sang Shout It Out Loud.
Oh,
they sang Rocket Ride.
Yes.
They sang Cold Gin.
Yep.
He sang Cherry.
Love Gun.
He sang Cherry Medicine.
Yep.
He didn't sing 10,000 volts.
He sure didn't.
He sang Cherry Medicine instead of 10,000 volts. What did they open with?
Dude,
they opened with
Shock Me.
Shock Me. Whenever he opened, when I heard doodle, I was like, oh.
It was full of surprises.
Shock Me. And Ace did costume changes. So they would do these little jam sessions. And Ace's solo, he was just kind of playing like all kinds of these famous riffs. You heard some Zeppelin, you heard some Hendrix. And then he started doing his solo. It was kind of like a mishmash of his solos that you've heard. A live solo, live 2 solo. They played God of Thunder and then went into
New York Groove.
That
was a letdown.
Yeah, they didn't start singing it. They were just doing the dun dun dun.
Well, they even played when Ace was changing clothes. They played Firehouse.
Yeah, they played Firehouse. They played some Hotter Than Hell.
Yeah, that's right.
They played
She.
They played She.
Man, they killed a Parasite.
Parasite,
man, dude.
And Ace was singing these songs. It was so awesome to see him sing Parasite. he sung the first verse to Rock and Roll All Night.
Yeah.
He sung the first verse to he sung like songs that he doesn't usually sing.
Yeah.
He sang songs.
Well, didn't he write? You know, he wrote.
He wrote Parasite, Cold Gin.
Yeah, he wrote all these.
And he kind of like, I wrote this story about a groupie, and I wrote this song about a groupie, and and I knew when he said that it was going to be Parasite, because he had talked about Parasite being about that. He was in real good spirits. He was very present. You know what I'm saying? He was very present. He didn't look like he was zonked out, and I know that he just came back from. He's been starting to record on his new album, so I think that may be why he was a little
Fresh.
maybe a little fresh and tighter, because he's been playing in a studio setting and not just burned out from being on the road. God, what else did he do? Oh, and when everybody went away off the stage, she's like, "Where'd everybody go?"
It must be solo time.
And it must be solo time. And we were in Newton, so he was saying Newton with that Bronx, New York. Newton.
Wow, Newton.
How you doing, Newton? Newton. But it was really good. God, it was so good. I was actually very, very pleasantly surprised that they were as tight as they were. Well, I knew his band is tight, but Ace was tight. I've seen some videos of Ace where it's a catastrophe, where his guitarist is literally pointing to the fretboard like, "No, here." They played Detroit Rock City.
Yes.
They killed that. They sounded really good on that.
Pretty smart for him to surround himself with those three guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's just a winning ingredient.
And they were nice guys too. We ran into them.
We met them in the walking through the lines and stuff.
Yeah, we were the merch line was insane. The merch line literally went outside the building. It was longer than the line for beer, if that tells you anything. And we got some shirts. Scott got a shirt. I got a shirt. Show what you got. He got I like that shirt. And I got this one. I got the 10,000 volts cover. I was eyeballing. He had some autographed CDs with the lenticular cover of the 10,000 volts, and I was looking at it and I couldn't make out the price. And I said, "Does that say 80? Surely that's not 80." Yeah, it was 80.
80
bucks. But it was autographed. And you got you a coaster too, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a coaster.
And let's see.
It's in one of these pockets.
Yeah, got programs. Can't see that little lightning bolt coaster. Man, this place done emptied out. But yeah, it's got a little article. I'll take a picture or scan of this or something and put this up. It just talks about Ace Frehley, those thundering riffs, singable solos, blah blah blah, everything we know about Ace. But I would rate the overall experience of tonight. His band was a 10. His band's a 10. Ace was probably an 8 tonight. He wasn't perfect. Ace is never perfect. Ace is sloppy.
Well, that's the beauty.
That's what we love
rock
about
and roll.
Ace. Yeah. So if you accept Ace for his sloppiness, then Ace was a 10 tonight. Ace definitely, he himself personally did not disappoint. And this show was fun. The place was packed. It was
people dancing and singing.
Yeah, everybody around us. There was these ladies. They were called the Cruise Kitties. And one of them turned around and was talking to us. Scott was singing so loud. She was turning around and jamming with him a little bit. And then after the show, she was like, she's like, "Where are you guys from?" We drove all the way from Pennsylvania. And that was crazy to me that me and you drove 30 minutes to get here. And there's people, I know there's some people here I saw online. There's some people from Switzerland. There's some people from out in North Carolina, but the eastern part of the state, like out towards High Point and Fayetteville. I know, I think her name's Rolla Brown or Rolla. She was here. I saw her. I didn't get to talk to her. But the whole crowd was standing on their feet. Honestly, the only time I saw people sit down, and this isn't a slight towards Ace, but the only time I saw anybody sit down was kind of during Ace's solo a little bit.
I think a little break.
I think that was like the 7-inning stretch, except the 7th inning stretch, instead of stretching, we sat down because it was on our feet for almost an hour and a half straight. And my seats weren't as good as I thought they were. I mean, we were on row H,
I don't think there's a bad seat in
which
there.
was row 12, but we were literally one row from being as far back as you could get. The people behind us was in the back row.
But it's not like looking at ants on stage. I mean, you can see them.
Oh no! Like when I was zoomed in up close, I was getting Ace from his guitar to the top of his head, and I'm going to try to show as much footage in my YouTube as I can as we go along. I won't be able to show too much because YouTube will copyright strike.
Algorithm.
The algorithm copy strike the video. The robots will bot, and but like Ace says, they're up in the sky, and we're blinded by science, the technology, too much technology. But we had a good time. This was awesome. I mean, it was really good. I'm really happy that we did this, and I'm really happy that we came. This is something I initially wasn't going to do, and I was like, screw it. This will probably be. He's talking about he had a birthday. Him and Gene and Paul aren't getting any older, aren't getting any younger. They're getting older. So it was real good. All in all.
Yes,
really
it was
good.
a great show, man.
Great show. Good show.
Good opening act. The guy playing acoustic guitar.
Yeah, there was a guy.
Which is kind of brave.
Yeah.
To come out to a crowd that's ready to rock.
Yeah. I felt like he was out there maybe a song or two too long. But
yeah, they cut him off.
Yeah, they cut him off. Well, he played almost right up to 8 o'clock. He came out just a little bit after 7:30. And then Ace actually came out on the stage. They played some intro music, and they played Fractured Quantum or whatever, and then they cut it off about halfway. And then they broke into Shock Me, the first song. But I felt like he was doing a bunch of stuff. He was doing everything from Tina Turner to Bruce
Springsteen.
To Bruce Springsteen.
Prince.
He did Prince. He did an Alice in Chains song.
Allman Brothers.
He did Wood. He did some Allman Brothers.
Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, he was mashing some stuff up.
He done a montage.
Yeah. I mean, he was a one-man band up there, just acoustic. Had a hell of a voice. If he ain't the singer of a band, that's a shame. He should be. But yeah, man, the Ace's band was just awesome. They all sang. You can see in the videos if you're on Patreon. I'm putting all the videos on Patreon, uncut. And some of them shaky as hell because I had to zoom in so much, and I was back there. We were back there dancing and bumping into other people, so we were shaking stuff up. But yeah, we had a good time. It's always good to be around Kiss fans and stuff. It's always good. We had a good time though. But yeah, so I'd say it was a 10.
It's worth the money.
10 out of 10. Yeah, if you get the chance to see Ace on the rest of his tour, go see him. It's a lot of fun. Sloppiness and all. I mean, you got to expect that out of Ace. If you expect perfection out of Ace, then the problem's on you, not on him.
Well, sometimes the sloppiness is the excitement.
Yeah.
If somebody's just too perfect, it's almost boring.
Yeah.
There's no charisma. There's no pizzazz of part of the show. It's just music by numbers.
Right. And
it's just like, okay, this is kind of boring. There's no excitement.
And
there's no climax or anything.
Yeah, and his band was I could tell that they weren't playing to a click, because there was a couple times Ace might come out of something a little late, and you heard his band adapt. They might have threw in an extra beat on a measure to kind of catch back up with him or whatever. I mean, that happened maybe once or twice at the most.
They all worked together.
But they all worked together. They were all in tune. They were having a good time. Ace was having a good time. Ace was in real good spirits tonight. I've seen some videos of Ace where it looks like it's a chore for him to be up
excited,
there.
Yeah.
But he looked like he was excited to be in Newton tonight. So anyway, yeah, 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, pretty good.
Fun show.
Very fun.
All right. Oh yeah, I guess I'll use this part of the video to close it. So yeah, if you get the chance to go see Ace, and give me a like or subscribe, comment, blah blah blah, all that stuff, and comment and talk about down in the comments. Talk about the show. We'll see you. Thanks, Scott.
Nevada Rock.
Nevada Rock.